And in this case, Mr. President, it's really alarming already. From what I remember, as far as I can remember, there's already an agreement that there will be no more additional infrastructure or reclamation. But unfortunately, I think China did not really honor that agreement. Yung pong Horizon 3, if we are able to complete the Horizon 3, that will already put up a decent defense for our country. Is that correct, Mr. Mr. Sponsor?
Correct, Mr. President, Your
Yes.
Honor. Yes, Mr. President. In fact, if we talk about Horizon 3, the credible defense posture means it is fully mission capable for territorial defense for not only the West Philippine Sea, but for the whole Philippine territory, Mr. President. So we can sleep soundly at night if Horizon 3 is already achieved by our defense establishment, Mr. President.
As a matter of fact, what we need to do is add budget for them for more surface-to-air missiles, for more surface-to-surface missiles, anti-ship missiles, anti-tank missiles, like the javelins that they're using in Russia very successfully now. I think that is the key. Mobility against a larger force and smaller but more efficient weaponry.
The multiplier effect of having submarines can already be a strong deterrent to a whole armada, even of the People's Liberation Army or the Chinese Navy. Siguro medyo mataas, pero hopefully, why not, no? Maganda siguro, ano? But I know it's too steep a price to pay, but you know, we are fighting for our territorial integrity and our sovereignty, Mr. President. And I think that has no price. Just last month in our parliamentary visit to France, and we had the chance to visit the naval group. No, I was with the Senate President, and they were offering, and they showed us some vessels, no, that are siguro yan na natin classified, but I think this, ayun na pala, nandiyan na pala.
Classified siya, pero nandiyan na sa screen.
But,
Tignan natin yung kwento. Yan ang pakita.
But I was also told, when I talked to Secretary Faustino earlier and the Chief of Staff, that nagkwento sila yung tungkol po sa RIMPAC exercise recently, Mr. President. Just recently, we're in all the allied nations, no? United States, Australia, ano pa ba nandun? Japan, United Kingdom. So, yung mga magkakasama, yung magkakampi, all their naval vessels were there, all modern, equipped with the necessary radars and sensors. Nagpakawala daw ng dalawang submarine. And it was never detected, Mr. President. Dalawa lang yun. Ang dami nun, mga 30. About 30 vessels were there, the most modern equipment, and no vessel was able to detect these two submarines. Mr. President, it's a long shot, but I think the multiplier effect of having submarines can already be a strong deterrent to a whole armada, even of the People's Liberation Army or the Chinese Navy. Siguro medyo mataas, pero hopefully, why not, no? Maganda siguro, ano? But I know it's too steep a price to pay, but you know, we are fighting for our territorial integrity and our sovereignty, Mr. President. And I think that has no price. If I may show also the recent photos that came out already on media on the development on the West Philippine Seas, no? Yung pong mga reclaim, siguro pakita natin. Pinakita nyo kasi kagad yung Navy.
And Mr. President, if I may, you know, our Philippine Navy is advanced as far as training our people for submarine fleeting, Mr. President. We already have naval officers trained for submarine duties, but we don't have submarines. So we have to provide them with submarines so that these people can be utilized.
And likewise, the Senate President and I, they were offering also to train our people while they are building, no? And also build yung parang magiging shipyard technology. There will be technology. Mr. President, right on our slide right now are some images taken from the disputed territories, no? Ito po yung mga latest images that we have gathered. Next slide, please. Yan po, para na siyang
Parang resort.
para resort, parang mini city na rin, no? Sige, next slide.
Those are, if I may, Your Honors, those are high-tech radar systems. So just, hindi mushroom yan. Baka sabi na tao, mushroom yan. Yan ay high-tech radar systems can detect aircraft hundreds of miles away. So, obviously, they're preparing for something.
Almost, ano na, no? Parang fully operational na siya, no? Nasa military base. Next. So, tingnan nyo, kung may kita nyo talaga, it's from the recent photos, no? And the previous photos, parang laging may nadadagdag. So, I just like to confirm probably from our sponsor, maybe we can ask the defense officials kung, ano ba to, confirm ba na ganito na ang itsura ng ating, ano? Ng area do sa West Philippine Sea.
Mr. President, the Department of National Defense has been consistently monitoring these developments through the conduct of legitimate aerial and maritime sovereignty patrols over the West Philippine Sea by the Armed Forces of the Philippines. The information that we gather in these patrols support the government's diplomatic protest against activities that violate Philippine sovereignty, sovereign rights, and jurisdiction in the West Philippine Sea. These infrastructures built by China are not new, but the photos seem to indicate that some of the facilities have been constructed recently. So that's confirmed, Mr. President, Your Honor.
And in this case, Mr. President, it's really alarming already. From what I remember, as far as I can remember, there's already an agreement that there will be no more additional infrastructure or reclamation. But unfortunately, I think China did not really honor, no, that agreement. So hence, that's why, Mr. President, I am standing up today really to support the AFP modernization. Not really to be aggressors, but really for our self-defense and really for the protection and for to fight for our territorial integrity and protection of our sovereignty, Mr. President. As what the sponsor has said, no, that a decent, yung pong Horizon 3, if we are able to complete the Horizon 3, that will already put up a decent defense for our country. Is that correct, Mr. President, Mr. Sponsor?
Correct, Mr. President, Your Honor.
That will already serve as that will already be a deterrent, no? Kahit papaano, may takot na sila, hindi yung they can on any time intrude on our intrusion, bigla naman intrusion in our airspace because they would know that, you know, we will have our defense system that, you know, that they will put their aircraft in danger kasi meron na tayong decent defense.
Yes, Mr. President. In fact, if we talk about Horizon 3, the credible defense posture means it is fully mission capable for territorial defense for not only the West Philippine Sea, but for the whole Philippine territory, Mr. President. So we can sleep soundly at night if Horizon 3 is already achieved by our defense establishment, Mr. President.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Sponsor, Mr. President. That's why I know that our fiscal space is limited, but in case we are able to raise enough revenues, I would say that it's because of the clear and present danger that we are facing right now because of the development in the West Philippine Sea. I would really strongly suggest and I would strongly support that if we can add some more and so that we can already close the gap and be in time, no, with our Horizon 3 targets, no, by 2028 at least before the president's term ends. Kung matapos man na natin Horizon 3, we will now have a defense that is already decent and capable, no, that will be capable to defend our territories, Mr. President.
Yes, may I add, looking at the Ukrainian experience, when Russia with the million-man strong army invaded Ukraine, marami pong nag-akala na matatapos yan in 1 week, na makuha na nila yung buong Ukraine. It has been already how many months? 8 months? 7 months? And they are reclaiming territory. The Ukrainian army was only about 200 plus thousand, if I'm not mistaken, all volunteer force. So, let us not be frustrated with sheer numbers. Tama sinabi ni Sen Bato, these gentlemen and ladies there will not back out of a fight. I know they've tried their, I think if it's experience, China's last war was in, our soldiers can ably defend our people, even if it's a smaller force. As a matter of fact, what we need to do is add budget for them for more surface-to-air missiles, or more surface-to-surface missiles, anti-ship missiles, anti-tank missiles, like the javelins that they're using in Russia very successfully now. I think That is the key. Mobility against a larger force and smaller but more efficient weaponry. So, yan, imbis na, of course, importante yung isang frigate. Yung isang frigate, abot ng ilang billion yan. But if you can use that money to buy 1,000 javelins, 1,000 surface-to-air missiles, 1,000 anti-ship missiles, ilagay natin under the guise of our bangka operator, malalaking bangka operator. Marami tayo niyan. We have enough forces, pero kailangan natin ng armas na ganun. That's why I support Senator J.V. Ercito, together with our brave men and women of the armed forces. Let's give them the tools that they need, and I'm sure they will be able to defend our country.
That's correct, Mr. President. With that, again, I'd like to reiterate our support, no, for the AFP modernization, just to give them the proper equipment and necessary vessels. I think they are more than capable of protecting the Filipino people, our sovereignty, and our territorial integrity. That's all, Mr. President. Thank you.
Thank you.
Laban Pinas.